We had a really good committee here, Ronnie and Diana and I and Moni and all, and then several others were on that committee, and Margaret too, and me. We really stretched this out. We ended up having, again, the population that we covered in Martin County. We had sessions in every community that we could get a session in, and some of them, when you talk about where the computer broadband is, it was kind of interesting going to Grenada and to Tremont, to just sit in a room in the city hall and have the community come in, and it's just one little dinky room for all of this activity going on. It was really kind of a unique experience in that. I think the difficulties maybe we did have was that we took this out to, and left it kind of open to say, okay, we're gonna do training on anything you really kind of want, and they came into the sessions and they had every device you can imagine and every phone. And we had two other instructors, Rita Craven and John Landsteiner, who was also working on this committee too. And so we always kind of had to pick and choose who knew maybe something about something. And some of these things, as you know, if you have your grandparents or parents, you've given them some old device that really isn't functioning up to capabilities. And we had to figure out how to do some of those things. So there's a learning experience, I think, for pretty much all of us. But we covered 82 people, more or less. We had 24 sessions. That's a lot of sessions. And we really did cover the whole community on it. We went into all the local cafes, city halls, the libraries, meeting rooms, Hy-Vee. We had a wide variety of things. We went to St. John Vianney. Diana did some presentations on security for children, so it was kind of a parents group for to teach parents how to watch for their kids and what they're doing. With Moni's group, Moni, maybe you want to touch on that real quick?
We had 36 people with disabilities attend 3 sessions that Rita Craven did for us, and my primary focus was, as we're trying to find jobs for people with disabilities, we wanted, number one, they need to understand internet security, and that whatever they put on the internet is out there. So it's trying to get them to kind of understand that as you apply for jobs, your employer has the right to look at what you're putting out there on Facebook and social media. So it was a lot of that, and it was the common apps that they could use in their community that would help them. And it was very well received by the people that attended, and Rita was kind enough to share the curriculum with us, which I also shared with our Mankato office, because we have a lot of people going through programs called Track to Success or Bridge to the Future. Bridge to the Future is for students with disabilities as they make the transition from high school, to an employment position. And Track is for people that have maybe languished too long without employment, that have been in the community, they're older than students that are still struggling, so that, again, they could use that curriculum to help them with understanding, and navigating a little bit of the security angles of keeping yourself safe and not being exposed to predators, or kind of understanding, what's happening and making sure that your profile is fairly clean and helping them get jobs. So for us, it was a win-win, and we hope to continue with the curriculum that she gave us to kind of broaden that as we get more individuals coming into our programs.
Next slide is just our media coverage. We had really good media coverage. Again, we kept putting in our Coffee Connection sessions and where they were going to be located. This is just a nice picture that we had at one of our sessions in a coffee shop. The next one is
Touch and treat, though. That's kind of a fun. That's nice.
yeah, it is. We gave away these flashcards with Martin County and Blandon on each side, and some stylus pens, which amazing, were very popular. Seniors really liked those, so they could not pick from the computer or their phones or whatever. So those were our ads. We got a lot of feedback from the community for both the Cody Camp and for the Coffee Connections, and there was a desire to have more sessions for Coffee Connections. We would like to somehow get that into the community, but have it driven more by people that want to go to these sessions. We kept saying, create a little group that you want to meet, and then if you need some help or you want some instruction, we'll come. We'll somehow, fund it, and we'll get people to come and help do these things. I think some of the most interesting things that we had is, for me anyway, as a little kind of story on some of this, is when we were in the assisted living units and the senior living units, it was amazing that the 86-year-olds were very computer savvy. They knew the computer, but they might have had a question on their phone. They wanted to learn, but they wanted to communicate. That was the main thing, is they wanted to communicate. So hopefully I won't break up when I tell some of these stories, because they're really, but I probably will. One of them was a woman who had Lou Gehrig's disease, and she was out at one of the assisted living units. And she said she wanted to just communicate on Facebook. She just wanted to communicate with her daughter, friends. See, I knew I'd break up, but it was very moving. There were other stories with the older people who just needed that connectivity, and to get these devices and not know how to work them is difficult. So,
okay. I'll pull in like you agree. Well, and again, we had a lot of fun. They were all willing and energized and wanting to learn. We had, I think, people from both ends of the spectrum. We had some, older individuals that would come with computers and tablets that their children had purchased for them and said, "Here."
yeah.
And then didn't, they were like, "What is this brick that you just gave me?" And trying to help them make it work and to show them how to maneuver in it. We also had, and I think she was one lady that came. I think she was about 85, and she came with an iPhone and iPad and said she had a smart TV at home and wanted to know how to work them all together.
Yeah.
And so, that was, we had, like what Kay said, we had a broad spectrum of requests.
We
But
did,
most of
try to
them
do
were,
a smart TV session too. We had Welcome TV, so we got a business engaged to do a smart TV session, but we didn't really have any takers. But because that came up in several of their coffee connections, is that people now had these smart TVs and didn't know what that even meant, to use. I think that's an avenue that still could be pursued, because the business community, I think, is fine with doing some sessions of training, to people and kind of carrying that on, when people buy TVs and that sort of thing. But it was interesting because we thought, well, we'll try this, but I think it was the time of day that we had it,